Welcome back. I'm Roy with Rugged Badger Racing and Team Parts Badger. This is our F-Class Miata that we're gonna race in the ChampCar Endurance Series. We just got done getting this thing ready. Let me tell you a little bit about the car, what we did to prepare, and about F-Class in the ChampCar Endurance Series. Now, if you've been watching my channel, you know that we've been running our Ecotec swap Miata in ChampCar in the B class. We've also been getting new drivers up to speed with their first time racing, and frankly, the B car is a little bit too much. Not only does it have about 40 more horsepower than the F-Class car, it also has aero, and frankly, it's a lot harder to drive. So I'm hoping the F-Class car is gonna be a lot more manageable and hopefully can lower our costs. Now, before I dive into the car, let me tell you a little bit about F-Class. Now, ChampCar runs on a 500 point system. Depending on which car you start with, you have a base allotment of points called a VPI, or Vehicle Performance Index. You can swap that platform and you have a swap Vehicle Performance Index, and then your swap points are based on the horsepower. In our case, we're running an Ecotec swap in this Miata, which normally this car would be a 300 point car. We're doing the swap that adds 101 points, which means we have a base value of 401 without any of the modifications. Now, some modifications are free, some are points. For instance, we pay 10 points for the Airdam, 10 points for the splitter, 10 points for the rear wing. We're paying 5 points a corner for spring purchase, or I'm sorry, 10 points a corner for spring purchase. We have 2.5 points per corner for hubs, but brakes are free. Air intake is free, ECU is free. So within that rule set, you build up a car to maximize to 500 points. Now, F-Class is a little bit different. F-Class is limited to just 300 points. And with this car, although it's a 1990 to 1993 Mazda Miata chassis, which is the 1.6 liter, technically we platform swap this, so we're just gonna call it a 1997 Miata. Now, being a 1997 Miata, the base value is 300 points, which is the maximum point limit for the F-Class in ChampCar, which means we can't make any other modifications of the car except for the ones that are free. Now, we picked up this car from a local racer who is racing this in SCCA and Midwestern Council. Now, they have a little bit different rules, especially a lot of the series, it seems like they're moving to power to weight. This had a very modified Mazda Miata motor. So we actually ended up buying the car without a motor and had to find a motor to put into it. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But nonetheless, this was a relatively race-ready vehicle. We just had to get it ready for endurance racing. Now, if you saw the previous video with our B-Class car, you know we had to go through a lot of different things on this car to get it endurance race ready again. This was set up for sprint racing, but overall, it was in pretty good shape. We actually did end up swapping out the front suspension. We had some bent A-arms, and that was a situation where I believe the previous owner purchased aftermarket OE equivalent A-arms, and they actually came bent. And one of the reasons why I believe this is the case is I actually ordered a new set of Delphi arms off of Rock Auto, and they came bent. So we ended up going back to used OE arms. We pushed the stock bushings out, put in Delrin, and we replaced the front suspension in this car. Some other modifications is we had to take the coilovers out of this car. Because we're limited at 300 points and we can't make any points modifications, we have to use the OE or similar to OE spring diameter. So we moved back to the OE Bilsting shocks with Flying Miata street springs. So you can actually see the ride height in this car. It's pretty high, but for the first race, that's probably gonna do okay. Now, for other modifications, we had to focus a lot on electronics. Let me dive in. Now, the car came with a Mega Squirt ECU, and that was a Mega Squirt Pro ECU. Now, that's really helpful for the engine, which I'll get into a little bit later, but this didn't have any dash system. The one that was in the car, I believe, was a Micron, and that did not come with it when we bought. So we did have to invest in a new AIM system. We decided to go with the AIM MXM. Now, in the other car, which is behind me, we have the AIM MXS 1.2. Now, that's a really good system, but it's about $3,000 all in. This system came in at about $1,300, and it does pretty much everything that the MXS does, but the screen doesn't look as nice. It's actually a pretty low resolution screen, but at the end of the day, all our data is there, and we were able to get this thing pretty well configured, and we now have a dash and we have data recording. Now, on the camera side of things, we did add an AIM Smarty Cam, same as this car, but this car has an older model. That's a higher end. I think it's the GP model. We're going to use the Smarty Cam 3 Sport, which obviously is pointed at us right now, but we just got that thing configured, and I really like that Smarty Cam. I think it's a great choice. Unfortunately, the Smarty Cam only records in 1080p, so next to that, we also have a GoPro. This is the new GoPro Hero. It's really small. It has a built-in battery that doesn't last very long, but it doesn't matter because we're powering it off the car anyway. So that GoPro can record a full 4K, and it's pretty reasonably priced. We also went through some of the other electronics just to get some things wired. I believe we relocated the cool shirt. We had to update some lighting, and we had to update the panel. But overall, the electrical in this car was substantially easier to work with than this car. That one, frankly, it's still a bit of a rat's nest. I'm really happy with how well the electrical was done and how well everything ended up turning out. We also have the AFR gauge and an oil pressure gauge in there as well. Now, we still have a lot of weight to take out of this car, but we're just trying to get this ready for Road Atlanta, which is in about a week. Now, here we have the motor. Now, this is really nothing special. This is a stock 1994 to 1997 Miata motor. But we ended up putting a lot of time into this motor. We got it as unknown condition. We actually have two of them. One is over at work that I got like 4 years ago that somebody was going to scrap. This one he actually included with the car in an unknown condition. Now, while we were going through this, we thought it was going to be a good motor. We decided to take the oil pan off, and we actually saw a little bit heat on rod number 4, which means oil starvation. When we pulled that, we started pulling bearings, both the main and the rod bearings. They looked really nasty, but thankfully we weren't in a position where it spun a bearing and didn't destroy the crank. Nonetheless, we ended up putting about 48 hours into this motor. That is taking the crank out, hand polishing the crank with sandpaper, which isn't necessarily the best way to do it, but that's what we had. We couldn't really get to a machine shop in time and didn't want to go through all that. Nonetheless, this does have new bearings, a new head gasket. We got this thing all back together and got it in the car. Thankfully, unfortunately, it took way longer than we thought. Some other goodies in here, we actually have an upgraded brake master cylinder, which is no points, a proportioning valve, which is no points. Actually, the brakes on this car, we ended up putting our big brake kit in the front, which is the 11.75 by 0.81 inch, which we also have on this car. In this car, we're running the AFCO. In this car, we're running the Willwood. Nonetheless, it's the same caliper. As I mentioned, it had the Megasquirt 3, which made this a lot easier. We do have a flex fuel sensor, but we actually won't be using that because we definitely want to run at worst 10% ethanol. At best, we want to run no ethanol. Ethanol overall requires more fuel, and endurance racing, we want as much energy in the fuel as possible. So ideally, we can run no ethanol, and we can actually run a little bit leaner than what we would do with ethanol. Came with this nice intake box and everything set up. We changed the way that the radiator ducting was just to match this car a little bit more similar. Now this one has the Airdam and the splitter. This one just has a stock bumper. Now I'm waiting for a ruling on the R package front lip. So in the Miata, it comes with the R package, has a front lip. You can also get that in other packages. Waiting for a ruling whether or not that's legal. Nonetheless, the car came with something that wasn't legal anyway. It was aftermarket, but hopefully we can get a ruling on that and we can put that in the car. Transmission was in pretty good condition. Also has a Torsen differential in the back as well. And everything for the most part looked really good. Now we did have to get header or OE exhaust manifold, downpipe, and then I'm actually using the exhaust from my street car. So I have a bunch of different exhausts from my street car. I don't know if you can see them. I got a big pile of them behind my Eclipse over there. So that's what we ended up using. We actually just got a test pipe from Goodwin Racing. And they shipped that right away. I was super happy that they were able to do that. That bypassed the catalytic converter. So this actually is pretty interesting because this is almost an identical setup to my street car, except my street car actually has a turbo. But the shocks are the same, the springs are the same, stock sway bars, which is all pretty interesting. Drivetrain is pretty much the same, obviously, except for the turbo, and I guess it is the later version, the 99 to 2000 motor variant. Nonetheless, this actually is going to handle about the same as my street car. Now, some other modifications we did. Now, the car did not come with a radio, so we have a new Motorola radio, and then that Motorola radio by Racing Radios is going to match the one that we have in our other cars. So both cars are going to be on the same frequency. We also upgraded the antennas in both cars. Normally, we ran this flat antenna right here, but frankly, the transmission on that wasn't the best. We were told that this antenna is going to perform much better, and we threw one on this car as well. Now, the radio is really pricey, and frankly, we were running some Chinese stuff before. It worked okay. The Motorola stuff is better. It just is, but boy, it's expensive. Now, in the back of the car, we did relocate the cool shirt that's in the same location now as it is in the B car. That moves the weight much further back. We're a lot happier with this location, and everything is mounted in a very similar way. We also have our fire bottle back here as well. So we actually had to get that updated, and frankly, we're using a different fire bottle because the other one was a lot harder to get updated. So we grabbed one of our other ones. That is now up to date, and we should be ready to race. Now, another major upgrade on this car is actually the lights, because the next race we're doing, Road Atlanta, is a 14-hour race, and we're gonna race at night. Now, on the B car, I was playing around with a mounting system for lights on the car, and if you remember that video, I spent about 17 hours getting the lights prepared. And then we ended up having some contact on this corner, and then that really gummed up the works from the mounting perspective. So went with a different design, and what we actually did was we bought aftermarket lens housings, cut them with the jigsaw, and then mounted our little lights inside. And frankly, we just bolted them in place, and that actually worked out really well. So we actually upgraded both cars, have this light assembly now. It is modular, so we should be able to pop them in and out pretty easily. We also upgraded them so that they're both white lights. Previously, we were running yellow lights as well as white lights next to each other so that you could distinguish there's two separate lights. That way, if we ended up losing a particular light or corner for whatever reason, that the corner workers could still distinguish, hey, you have two lights, that car's still legal, we do not have to black flag them. Now, I know that's some extreme, but I've gotten black flagged on lights before, and you don't want your race ruined because of a technicality. So nonetheless, this is a night race, so I would prefer to run white light, because when I was testing these at night with a white and a yellow together, frankly, it was messing with my eyes a little bit. I think it's much better for the night races that we run two of the white color temperature lights, and we have little apex lights that are mounted to the side, and then we got ones mounted in the front. And frankly, I really like this setup. The lenses for a pair, I think, were 30 bucks on Amazon. The lights are really inexpensive as well, and it took substantially less time than my really complicated mount system that I had over here on the B car. So I mentioned we're a few days away. All we have left is put graphics on this car, and we are ready to go. Now, we still have about 100 hours in preparing this car, but frankly, I feel like this car was a little bit easier than this one. And remember, we have about 50 hours, I think it was 48 hours, somewhere in that territory, just into the motor in this car. So it was much easier getting everything else prepared on this car versus this one overall. Now, expense-wise, I will be doing a video on budget to see what it costs. I know that the totals are definitely ramping up there as you buy the aim system, the different cameras, the radio. This car is getting pricey, especially for an entry-level car. Nonetheless, I'll have a separate video on that. But I'm really excited to be championing F-Class car within the ChampCar series. I really think it's a great class, and this car should be a heck of a lot of fun. Now, it will be slower. My guess is anywhere from 6 to 8 seconds slower than the B car, especially because of the power, the aero, things like that. Nonetheless, I think we're gonna have just as much fun with this car over here, and hopefully we're gonna save a lot of money on consumables, and we're gonna get our new drivers up to speed a lot faster. Now, if you like this content, please remember to like and subscribe below. We're gonna have a lot more content coming, including our race at Road Atlanta. Thanks for watching.